Welcome back to the 52 Life Lessons series on the Working Well podcast. Today's lesson is number 12, and it's one that I've had to learn, forget, and relearn at a deeper level many times throughout my life. And the lesson is to embrace change, not because it's comfortable, not because it's convenient, but because resisting it quietly taxes your energy, your clarity, and your potential. Now, intellectually, we know that change is constant. What we often fail to appreciate is that change almost never arrives in a clean, linear, Instagram-friendly way. It usually shows up uncomfortable or downright shitty at the start, chaotic in the middle, and only later, sometimes much later, do we look back and say, now I get the lesson in all this. And for a long time, I didn't just dislike change, I actively fought it. Not just the big life-altering stuff either. It was everything. My favorite restaurant deciding to change their menu, a friend moving out of town, a market shift that hit my business at exactly the wrong time. Different situations all had the same internal response for me. I got frustrated. I pushed everything away. I resisted. And I walked around with a low-grade sense of irritation that just followed me throughout the day or week. But what I didn't realize back then was how much mental bandwidth and happiness that resistance was stealing from me. Instead of adapting or creating, I was arguing with reality in my head. And as the saying goes, reality doesn't negotiate. But the real shift came during a business mastermind meeting that I was having with some colleagues. I was mid-rant about this market change that had negatively impacted my business. You know the attitude, the heavy sighs. Why now? This isn't fair. Why me? And one of my peers just very calmly asked a simple question. He said, isn't this basically the same kind of situation that led you to start the second division of your company? And that question stopped me in my tracks because he was right. Years earlier, a very similar disruption had forced me to think differently. It pushed me to create an entirely new line of business. And that business became actually a major growth driver of my entire company. Now, the same type of change once created opportunity. Now I was treating it like a threat. And when I reflected further, something else became painfully obvious to me. So much of my business success had come from noticing the opportunities that change made possible. And then somewhere along the way, I'd forgotten that. And there's actually solid research behind this reaction. Neuroscience research shows that when we experience uncertainty or disruption, the brain interprets it as a threat, even if no real danger exists. Studies using fMRI scans show that increased activity in the amygdala happens during change and ambiguity. And the amygdala, as we may know, is our brain's threat detection center. So in simple terms, change feels unsafe, even actually if it's not actually harmful. There's also research from Harvard psychologist Ellen Langer, who shows that people who approach change with a mindful or growth-oriented mindset are significantly more adaptable, resilient, and effective under pressure. They don't experience less disruption in life, but they recover faster and they extract more learning from it. So the same change, viewed through a different mindset, leads to a completely different outcome. And that's really what we're working towards. So since that mastermind moment, I've built a simple mental practice. Do I still feel frustration when change hits? Yeah, of course, I'm human. But now I catch it faster. And instead of spiraling, I start to ask better questions. What's the opportunity here that I might not see yet? What is this change forcing me to learn, to rethink, or let go of? And how might this serve my growth 6 months from now? Because I'm not seeing it at this point, but 6 months from now, what would I look back on and say, yeah, okay, that was pretty helpful. And this shift doesn't make change easy, but it makes it useful. And we know that change is going to happen anyway, so why don't we make it useful? Now, I was reminded of this fact again when I was reading The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And in it, he writes, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. And that line struck me because it captures real life so well. We want transformation without discomfort. We want growth without uncertainty. And that after photo without the awkward middle or all the work that goes into it. But real change doesn't work that way. Now, here's where I want to be very honest. Despite knowing this lesson, teaching it, and believing it, I lost connection to it during one of the hardest stretches of my life. A number of significant life-altering events happened during a very short period of time, professionally, personally, physically. And instead of seeing the opportunity, I felt lost. I was rudderless, pessimistic in a way that I had never experienced before. For over a year, I couldn't see how anything positive could come from the pain I was in. Not growth, not clarity, not wisdom, just plain survival on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you've been there, you know how heavy that space can be. What changed wasn't a sudden breakthrough or some motivational quote. It was slow. With the help of my coach, the support from friends and family, with time, reflection, and some, well, to be true, very uncomfortable honesty about myself and the way I'd been showing up, gradually the gifts started to appear. And looking back now, that quote couldn't be more accurate. It was damn hard at the beginning, really messy in the middle, and now it's genuinely glorious in ways that I couldn't have imagined at the time. That period forced deep reflection, soul searching, growth I never would have chosen voluntarily, but it shaped me. I'm stronger, wiser, more resilient. And it's made me a better human, partner, father, coach. And there are two quotes that help anchor this lesson for me. Peter Senge, the renowned systems thinker, said, "People don't resist change, they resist being changed." Think about that one for a second and see if it fits with you. James Belasco and Ralph Stayer, they also wrote, "Change is hard because people overestimate the value of what they have and they underestimate the value of what they may gain by giving that up." That one hits close home for me because we tend to cling to what's familiar, even when it's no longer serving us. So here's my invitation to you. The next time you find yourself resisting change, whether it's small and annoying or massive and overwhelming, just pause. Ask yourself, what opportunity might exist here that I can't see yet? What gift could be hidden in this particular moment? How could specific tools, resources, or support help me gain perspective on my situation? And if you're in a season where that feels impossible to do alone, hear this clearly. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. And you are not alone. Reach out, lean on your people, ask for help. And if there are ways I can support you, please don't hesitate to contact. Just reach out. Change is going to keep coming. That part is non-negotiable. But how we meet it, that's what matters most. That's where growth, resilience, and future opportunity are shaped. Hard at first, messy in the middle. And if we stay open and actively look for the gifts, this change will be glorious in the end. Thank you for tuning into the Working Well podcast. Please reach out. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what interviews you wanted me to see me do. If there are people you think that would be great to be featured on the show, reach out. LinkedIn, Instagram, send it out through my website, timborys.com. Look forward to chatting with you soon. That wraps up another episode of the Working Well podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Now, which guests or topics would you like to see featured on the show? Message me through LinkedIn or on the contact page of timborys.com with your ideas. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tim Borys with Fresh Wellness Group, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.